chopsticks, rice, and math. This is what I believe to be the ultimate East Asian trifecta, until I realized that they are more than that. They are also kimchi, noodles, and generational trauma. Like and subscribe. As recently as 2020 and below, East Asians were not people, at least not in my mind. What I mean by that is that it never crossed my mind that they were individuals, like you watching this video or me. There was a significant part of me that believed they had a collective consciousness controlled by a 55-year-old Asian math professor. A hive mind. For those who don't understand a hive mind, I will give an example from Rick and Morty. There is a character or entity named Unity who used to date Rick. In season 2, episode 3, she takes over an entire planet in order to create harmony by making sure all the citizens play their role and are just a piece of an entire puzzle.
Steven, set yourself free!
Summer, before I took over this planet, this man was a registered offender.
I still don't know what she exists like in her raw form, but that's not the point. Why I believe this is because it was hard to imagine that individuality can exist in such a harmonious, synchronized, disciplined, and driven culture. I have often heard people affectionately call East Asians ants. Individually, though strong, they are small, but together they are incapable of failure. Not because they do it right the first time, but because they are resilient and never give up. This is a nice perspective to have, except it was the only one I had. I didn't know if they experienced love or loss, hate, craving, envy, hope, aspirations, excitement, the ability to have a crush. With all these pieces missing, they never seemed human, just smaller pieces of a larger machine, programmed robots. That was until 2020. My friends had been convincing me to get into the world of K-pop and K-drama because, quite frankly, they are addicts. And after an exam, a need to decompress, and enough peer pressure, I gave into my laptop being invaded by K-dramas. As I was settling in to begin watching, I thought there is just something about the prestige of Hollywood that makes you think every other entertainment industry looks like this. But 3 minutes into episode 1, I had been sucked into a beautiful world I never even knew existed. The cinematography nerd in me could not believe how crisp the editing and color grading was. The wardrobe, hair, and overall aesthetic was so carefully picked. I got my first glimpse of high production, non-stereotypical or whitewashed majority Asian cast, romantic leads, villains, and supporting characters. 20 minutes into what was supposed to be a 1-hour break, I had binged my first K-drama, Tale of a Nine-Tailed Fox. I also got my first Asian baby daddy, Lee Dong-wook. Next, I watched What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Apart from discovering that I have more crushes, hello to these guys, I unlocked new levels: sense of humor, trauma, jealousy, love, possessiveness, friendship, loyalty. I discovered emotions. Were these romanticized versions of the Asian experience? Of course they were, just like every Hollywood portrayal. But in my mind, Asians went straight from robot to the peak of the human existence. They became like the perception of white people from my childhood, close to perfect. At this point, as I was scrolling through my phone, I came across an interview of a K-pop band, and I got drawn in by their personalities. Yes, it was BTS. I'm very average, sue me. Before BTS, I always thought K-pop guys were too feminine, but they introduced me to modern-day masculine-leaning androgyny. It was like Michael Jackson or Prince reincarnated. They expressed the full range of not feminine or masculine, but human emotions. They cry, express themselves, tease, hug, argue, have fears, ambitions, make mistakes. BTS is so wholesome, they made me want to explain away all the alleged toxicity of the Asian culture, until Min Yoongi, aka Sugar, said, "We are not perfect, we are just humans who have been presented to you in a nice package." This comment is what sparked my deep dive into your everyday Asian content creator. I was looking to find the Asian before the package. So why was I shocked to find someone in every niche? Comedy, relationships, extreme red and blue pill, aspiring artists, dancers, book talk, food talk, career people, homemakers, lifestyle, makeup, gays, straights, the whole rainbow, sarcastic, sweet, the stereotypically disciplined kids, but with a story and character. Unbelievably enough, the one who's not living up to expectations, and men with podcasts. Suddenly, they became relatable. I could see myself in so many of their stories. They stopped being they. They became him or her, Mary or John. They became individuals, each walking their own journey, just in a collectivist culture. But even so, they still felt quite innocent to hold accountable, like a newborn or child that had recently come to life in my eyes and needed grace. Even when I came across some weird behavior, I would brush it off. In fact, I didn't even believe in their capability of great evil. Then came the burning sun. Imagine waking up disoriented, dizzy, weak, to an unfamiliar room, possibly in a hotel. You try to move, and there is a crusty man above you forcing you down and having his way with you. He then coerces you to take pictures with him in compromising position, while having compliant facial expression. When you try to report him, you lose the case because he uses the pictures as proof of consent. This is one of the stories of the many victims of the burning sun, a club where beautiful and willing clubgoers would be drugged and trafficked to wealthy, powerful men that frequented the place because it was owned and masterminded by Sungri. Sungri, this guy, a member at the time but now former member of one of the biggest boy bands in South Korea, Big Bang. It was a devastating blow, not only for the fandom, the VIPs, but for the group and culture. After watching the 1 hour long YouTube BBC documentary, you would think my entire perspective would change to maybe they are evil, but not at all. It gave me the full picture I needed to complete the puzzle. After this final piece, they finally became just human. Now, many would say media is not a great source to portray reality, and that's true, but it is a good indicator on a culture's values, ideals, what they aspire to be, what they find interesting, humorous, aggravating, normal, unacceptable, their history. This was not just a scroll through TikTok, but it's documentaries, music, movies, series, personal blogs, vlogs, and even these have multiple subgenres. A wide sample of data gives you, if reality is a full painting, then a sketch or outline of reality. Personally, I needed this because it's one thing to logically understand or for the sake of political correctness say we are all human, but it's another to truly believe it. This somewhat deep dive showed me that Asians are capable of unfathomable good, unspeakable evil, but also basic mediocrity, just like everyone else. They are people with people characteristics just in a collectivist culture, so a macro analyzation will look different from an individualist culture. I know this video is more skewed in the direction of South Korean content, but that's just because that's what's in main media right now. And quite frankly, I'm very basic and unadventurous in my taste, so I watch whatever comes to me. But after exam season, I plan to explore more holistic Asian content so I can make an updated in-depth version of this video, and many others like it, hopefully. So I will really appreciate content recommendations in the comments below. And remember, it's always a good day to just be human. Like and subscribe.